Hey everyone, it's Creative again. This time to bring you something unusual I concocted. I call it Zombie Crab Mill. Now, I know Mill isn't the strongest archetype. The Mill decks don't really have a lot of room for innovation. Some things just can't change. But in my deck, you can see I still have the crabs. I still have the staples. And I have that set of practically required 1 mana spells. But where this deck kind of bucks the popular convention is here. It has its own Urza's package. Now in this package, I have 4 Altar the Broods, 1 Profane Memento, and 1 Lantern of the Lost. When it comes to Profane Memento, there's a lot of times where I felt when I've been playing Mill that I think, man, if I only had a few more life points, I could have pulled off that win. And I do think a lot of Mill players agree with that, as it's really popular to run Crypt Incursion. The problem with the Crypt Incursions that I have found is that sometimes I don't want to reduce the graveyard because it comes at the expense of, say, a Visions. Many times I also look at the game and I'm like, I just needed 3 more life points to stay alive and win. I don't necessarily need 27 or whatever amount that you would get off a life. I'm sure it's great, but sometimes it's just unnecessary. So I figured one of these, which is fetchable with Urza, is a decent substitute for Crypt Incursion. When it comes to Lantern of the Lost, I like it over Soul Guide Lantern because it lets me exile the opponent's graveyard and draw. I don't have to choose, I get both. And as far as the altars are concerned, it works with the combo. And that combo involves Undead Alchemist. Now, this combo can be worthless, but sometimes it can just be ridiculous depending on the matchup. Death and Taxes, Affinity, Merfolk, Humans, Elves, Hardened Scales, and even Hammer I found have fallen victim to this little combo with Alchemist. Basically any creature deck, probably like 25 plus more creatures in it, can really be undone by the pairing of Undead Alchemist and Altar the Brew. The ideal game I found is playing Altar on turn 1, playing an Urza Saga on turn 2, turn 3, just countering or killing something. Turn 4, you're going to float that mana from Urza, searching for another Altar of the Brood, putting it into play, and then immediately playing the Undead Alchemist, which is going to trigger twice, hopefully with one of those top 2 cards. You're going to mill a creature, and then it's going to start cascading if they're a creature-heavy deck. It's really fun. I've enjoyed it a lot, and I've lost games still, even after going and maybe milling like 30 cards, 30, 40 cards maybe. In this deck, I run 3 Urzas, mainly because they're expensive on MTGO. In real life, I own 4, and I play with all of them. So I run Orb also here because it enhances my constructs and can let my Undead Alchemist pay off in a different way also. And that's another dynamic about the deck that makes it different from your standard mill deck. It can beat your face in, and a lot of people are not prepared for that aspect of the deck. Many times, players' strategy when fighting against mill is just to disrupt the tempo of the mill, like stop a couple spells in a key area, and then that sets the mill player back, allows you to develop a board, and then you're going to win over time. With the Urza Sagas, it allows you to actually be a threat on the ground. And so players will then shift from trying to disrupt your mill strategy to trying to stabilize from the threats that are coming from the constructs. And that gives me a little bit of breathing room to kind of gather resources again and then continue with the milling. Basically, it's a mill deck that can operate on 2 different axes, and that dynamic has won me some games. I also run one of each of these, Oboro, Mikokoro, and the Shelldock Isle. I run 3 Fields of Ruin. I run 4 Polluted Deltas, 4 Watery Graves, 5 Islands, and 1 Swamp. In the sideboard, I run 3 Spell Pierces against spell-heavy decks, 2 Extirpates for Endurance, frankly, 2 Lanterns for graveyard decks, another Profane Tutor for aggro decks and burn, another Zombie for those tribal decks, Tashas for those low mana decks like Hammer, Death Shadow, and etc., and then finally, I run 2 Ashyoks for matchups like it for Titan. And that's the deck. So let's start this league. And our first game is up against Blue-White. And let's see how we do. All right. Our opening hand isn't the greatest. Only 1 land. But I can play Altar. Let's keep playing Mill. It's like you got to have faith when you play Mill. And I have faith that we're going to draw the extra land. All right, so we're either playing against Death Shadow or maybe even Mill. That'd be kind of cool. Mirror match. I don't think it's Death Shadow, though. I'm sure they would have sacked that land. We will shock this in and get our Altar in the Brood. and we will commence with the milling. I think our next play will be the orb. He'll either get one of the counters out of his hand, or he'll get under one of his counters like Drown a Lock, or we'll start nickeling and diming his deck. All right. Oh, Bant. All right. Well, I thought wrong. I guess this is probably blue-white control. I guess it could be Bant for real, like a blink deck. Still uncertain. But I'm going to say blue-white control. My faith was clearly misguided. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. Hopefully I just draw a land next turn. These fractured sanities are mocking me. It's terrible. We're not out of it. I mean, it's just the first part of the game. If we're able to get one more land, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. I could cycle out a sequence and then force these orbs through. There we go. We got a land. Here we can make this work. So I'll probably play this and then just cycle Fractured Sanity in their turn. I'm going to hold off cracking this land. I like to crack it in response to things. I feel like it's more efficient a lot of times. That's pretty interesting. I wonder why they're doing that. Maybe they're going to put a Solitude in, start attacking me right away. All right, maybe not. We'll crack this and mill them for 1. Oh, good to see that gone. That's and then get rid of my altar. And then we'll cycle Fractured Sanity. Normally I'd say I just need one more land, but against blue-white control, I probably need to start getting a steady set so I can start playing double mill spells in a turn. These fatal pushes are doing me no favors. I have 3 of the 4 in my hand now. These are terrible. I'll cycle, hope for another land. This is not good. The opposite of good. Drawing to get better cards. I'm definitely going to be discarding one of these fatal pushes. I might want to keep on to 1 if they cycle a shark. Never want to give up on mill, but things are starting to get a little out of reach. My opponent's making their land drops, and I'm not making any progress. Oh, that's really bad. My crabs are pointless at this point. Nice. I have no way of getting rid of that enchantment. Gross. All 4 Fractured Sanities. All right, well, if I can get another land, I will attempt to play Orb back to back. Opponent plays a land. Go ahead and pull one of these out. All right, great. I could probably play both of my orbs, but he does have 6 mana out, so I think I'll pass and just cycle. Looks like my opponent's going to put a threat into play. Nice. So I can fatal push this. Oh, dang it. I didn't set a stop for my end stop. All right. Now I have to use my fatal pushes and get them in danger. Oh, I can't use my fatal pushes. He has that stupid artifact. All right, I think I'm in big trouble. I don't have Drown the Locks. I rely heavily on the fatal pushes, and Chalice of the Void is really shutting me down there. I'll cycle again. Can't use that. That Chalice of the Void is probably going to win in the game. It's actually a really good number to put against me. Didn't realize how heavily I lean on 1. There's an altar, which will also get countered. I could play these orbs, but I don't want to give away too much information. I think I'm going to concede. All right, we'll move on to the next game. I got mana screwed, and I probably should not have kept a 1-lander. We'll bring in some Spell Pierces. Get rid of the fail pushes, obviously. And this little skull, he doesn't have enough creatures to really gain life. That's not really an issue. Unfortunately, my zombies are pointless. I think we're just going to have to look for more mill in the deck. These aren't the best, but they're better than the zombies. And I think we'll go from there. I will go first. All right, we start out with some crabs, 3 of them. So this should be exciting. Even if my opponent solitudes something, I'm still going to get underneath his counters. So we'll put out the worst crab first. Still love the guy, but he's just not as good as the 0/3. What is he doing? All right, my opponent is not playing a land for some reason. He had Emrakul in his hand, and he's revealing it to me. That's interesting. I wonder why. All right, we'll put this crab in. Maybe he's trying to intimidate me. Let me know that he has Emrakul, and I should just give up now. But we won't do that. Set these targets, so I don't have to click them every single time. Should I put out this next crab? I think I'll hold it. I'm being overly cautious probably, but I don't want to overcommit my board and then watch it get destroyed, though I guess I'm being really conservative about it. Kind of silly. I'm going to put the crab out next time. When it plays land, it passes. All right, let's get this crab out. If I would have done that last turn, I could play Tasha's right after I played this land. That was punishment for being too conservative. Mill for 9. And I guess I'll hold up a Fractured Sandy to cycle. Oh boy. I wonder how my crabs will die. I'm thinking Prismatic Ending. Hopefully not followed by a Solitude. Chalice of the Void. Huh. Alright, the crabs are safe. Better play this Visions before it loses any use. Lucky for me, I now have 3 mana spells. Alright, only have 1 play here. We're going to play Tasha's. We'll see how many cards I get. 11. Well, that's okay. It's not 14 like I would have got from Fractured Sanity. Of course, I couldn't play it because I needed triple blue and I don't have that. But I would have liked to see more. This is why I usually play it in the sideboard anyways. It's only really good against some matchups, I feel like. Oh, I did get Emrakul. That's pretty cool. That's a relief. So I can go pretty hardcore here. Unless he has 2 Emrakuls. My opponent just gives up. Alright, in the sideboard, I want to bring in this Lantern. Probably don't want to bring in every one of them since he's probably going to get Chalice of the Void on 1. And I'm already susceptible to it, so let's reduce the risk to that and bring in some Ashiok. And because I'm going to be policing the graveyard, these visions become worse. Plus the Chalice makes them worse. We'll get both of the Ashiok, and I think we'll run it like that. All right, my opening hand is Temptation. I'm not going to make the same mistake again. It's 1 land. Get behind me, Satan. All right. Okay, this I can keep. The question is, what am I going to keep? I'm thinking about the orb. Yeah. I'm going to go with the orb. We're going to say goodbye to the orb. Actually, what am I talking about? I don't have 2 blues. Okay, get rid of Tasha's. Stick with the orb until I get that second blue island. All right, my opponent is going to play a land. Probably not do anything else. Got to be wary of some sort of like Spell Pierce. So we'll throw this out. Not very consequential. I guess he felt the same way, or maybe just doesn't have a Spell Pierce. And here's my chance to do a trap. Especially if he gets, yep, there we go. Oh, crap. Stupid end step. I forgot to set this. I need to remember to set that. All right, nice. Missed opportunity for the Tasha's hideous, or not the stupid trap. I'm discombobbled. All right, we'll play a land. Such an idiot. All right, I'm going to feed this counter. Rather this get countered than something like one of my sorceries. There we go. Unfortunately for my trap, this is probably going to be a Teferi turn. Or he'll miss a land drop. All right, since my opponent missed the land drop and he's probably holding a counter up, we'll skip the crab, play the land, mill one, and we will start making robots. That's what's really cool about this version of the deck I made. It attacks on two fronts, and the front that people don't really expect is combat with a mill. So let's see. My opponent, ouch, looks like he's about to miss another land drop. So we'll make a robot here, and we'll have a 2/2. So we can start attacking him, really threatening his life total. And then as he tries to stabilize, we can return back to the mill. Oh, that's the ideal card. Now I can check his hand to see what my best play is going to be. I'll get this dress down since it's the easiest thing he has to kill my constructs in case I make a second one. Would have loved to see him counterspell. I bet he has a couple in his... Okay, maybe not. Devo's Veto, though. I should remember that. Get rid of his last dress down. Still has the Emrakul. Yep, okay. Okay, so he can counter if I try to play a spell. I should probably try to force him to use one of his Solitudes. Yeah, I think the best thing we can do here is force him to use one of his Solitudes early. And I'll get this lantern so that I have an answer to Emrakul if it hits the field anytime soon. All right, so we have really good board presence. Hopefully he is forced to use his Solitudes. We can hit him for 4 here. See what my opponent does. Yep, here comes one of the Solitudes. And he got rid of another Solitude. So we know he's saving Dovin's Veto. Will he try to kill my construct in his turn? Or is he going to hold up the counter? Yikes. Well, that sucks for him. He missed another land drop. I guess he's going to hold up the counter. I do feel bad for him. He's basically having our game won. But maybe he did what I did and kept too greedy of a hand. We'll hit him for 3. And then we'll play a crab because we know he just has the Dovin's Veto. All right. Then put in this land. Mill him for 4. At this point, we also want to make sure that we have a mana up at all times to exile the graveyard in case Emrakul comes out. All right, my opponent gets his 3rd land. He's fetching. What's he going to do? Shocks it in. And he plays Teferi. He's going to pop up the construct, I bet. Yep. We're going to be able to cycle Fractured Sanity, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then next turn, we're going to have like a lot of different options. We could create a construct. We could play Ashiok. If we draw a land, we play a crab. We could play this Visions now. Let's see, what's the best thing? I think we're going to play Ashiok now that he's all tapped out, because you never know if the next card's going to be Emrakul, and I think it'll be harder for him to get rid of Ashiok. So exile his graveyard. Hopefully we'll get Emrakul. Let's check it. All right. Okay. It does not look like it. All right. Well, Ashiok's on the field. It's just another way for us to exile the graveyard. So time's ticking, I hope. I guess a prismatic ending on 3 would be terrible. My opponent is taking away my lantern. Should I create a construct? I don't think it really matters. I'm about to get another lantern. If I tap it for 1 colorless, can I use it for anything? Not really. I think we just need to make a construct. It also helps me mill 1. I'll get the Lantern out as a backup to Ashiok if that's what he's looking to get rid of next. Oh, look at that Heliod land. That's pretty clever. I don't know if he can get it back, but let's get rid of it forever. Hate for that to hit the field and he start stacking his deck with the ley line, I guess. I wonder if he has other enchantments. See what Sheldock can get us. That's good. Tasha's. And let's exile the graveyard. Did we get Emrakul this time? It doesn't look like it. Okay, well, things are looking pretty decent for us. We have board presence. Teferi can't kill my construct. If he doesn't kill the construct now, I will be killing Teferi. And we're still threatening with Mill thanks to Ashiok. Looks like he's about to do something. He stole my Lantern again. I wonder if that's like, I desperately need to get rid of all the exile effects, or if he has another charm, he's going to start beating me down my own construct as a 3/3. Well, I will exile his deck again. Hopefully we get Emrakul. Of course, we're at that point. Let's see. It doesn't look like we did. But we're at that point where, like, if he gets an Emrakul, he's going to start shuffling his last 9 cards. I wonder if he has anything really in his deck that he can win with. All right, we might flip it here. Of course, if we don't, we're going to be probably in the driver's seat for the win at that point, because he doesn't have enough cards in hand to discard either. We'll check Teferi. And then if he doesn't kill the construct, we'll also start attacking his life total. So he needs to find a solution for the construct eventually, and he needs to find an answer to the Ashiok immediately. He ups Teferi. He plays another Teferi. So there goes the construct. So that's one thing down. But with the draw, if he doesn't get the answer right away for Ashiok, then we're definitely going to win. All right, did he get the answer? It doesn't look like it. All right, so here we go. We're going to win here, barring anything ridiculous. Exile, the last card, or one of the last cards was Emrakul, and we win. All right, well, that was a fun game. Control, always a tough matchup. Actually, I think Mill does get the favor, but it's a tricky one. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and tell me what you thought about the game. Bye.